Good. Well, that being the case, we're gonna keep doing. I think we did it last week. I forgot. My brain got erased. But we'll more or less do what we've been doing. We're gonna put a ball underneath the sternum to start with. If depending on your breast size, I'm gonna go grab a towel really quick. Depending on your breast size, you might be happiest if you roll up a towel so that, here's the one for more buxom. You're going to lay down, and if you're more buxom gal, you're going to put the towel underneath your ribs, and then hopefully your boobs will be cradled a little bit, and then you can put the ball in between at your sternum. If you're not as buxom, and if laying down you feel like you can get your ball contact with your sternum without any towel underneath your ribs, that's also fine. But if you do it with the towel's kind of awesome. I'm going to do it with the towel. Because there's this thing called the startle response when you go, you're all cool and then something happens and you go, ah! And then you can kind of get stuck like that. So if you put the towel there, I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit in a startle response with all the momming. So if you're doing the towel underneath the ribs and then the ball at the sternum. And then to start with, rest your head on your hands and just arrange your arms so that you're within comfort. Now, the towel's going to possibly cause you to arch into your low back a little bit if that's already what your tendency is. So like you were saying, Gretchen, do the beautiful thing. So it's like your pelvic floor closes like elevator doors, and then your abdominals lift the front of the pelvis up towards the rib cage. And that should hopefully get you a little bit of elongation through your lumbars. And as we're breathing and melting onto the ball, continue with the linking of the ribs and the pelvis. Closing the pelvic floor like elevator doors, and then the abdominals, the deep abdominals, lifting the front of the pelvis up towards the rib cage. 3 more breaths like that. So there's a release happening relative to the ball and or the towels. But then there's a deep core stabilization that's kind of toning and endurance in your deep core. Okay, so we're going to put the hands out into a goalpost position. And forehead can be down, but arrange your arms in comfort, or your head in comfort. So the technique is called push-pull with the arms. So maybe your hand closest to the screen is going to pull. Your hand farthest away from the screen is going to push a little bit, and maybe that'll roll your ball into the one side of your sternum a little bit more so. You can slide across the towel. And then do the opposite. The far arm pulls, the close arm pushes, and that helps you to glide over the ball and or the towel. So it's a push-pull with the arms, which is actually going to get you some toning in your arms. And then the other way, linking ribs and pelvis. 3 more times. And switch. 2 more. And switch. 1 more time. Okay, if you want to adjust the ball a little bit, we're going to do another round, but in a secondary position that's called, with your arms out to the side like a capital T. And first off, let's just orient. So with the shoulders, if you let gravity influence them, you could maybe even let them roll over the top of your rib cage and the front of your shoulders rest down on the ground. And then we're going to go the opposite. So send your shoulders over the top of the rib cage and back. So they're sliding a little bit down the rib cage. So they're not on your neck, but they're on your rib cage. Do it again. Round the shoulders towards the floor. Your shoulders climb up over your ribs, sort of up on towards your neck a little bit. And then do the opposite. Link the ribs in the pelvis. And 3. Keep that deep stabilizing. Close the pelvic floor like elevator doors, and then the abdominals lift the front of the pelvis enough to help your low back be long. Okay, this last time, we're going to stay so your shoulders are not on the floor, but they're more nestled on the ribs and anchored a little bit. Now the hand farthest away from the screen, you're going to maybe plant that arm, hand on the floor, start to pull with that one, and then the other one, you kind of push. The arm that's going straight, you push with it. And you roll the ball towards your sternum, towards one side. And then you switch, so the hand closest to the screen starts to pull, bend and pull. The other arm is straightening and sort of pushing, and you plow the ball to the other side of your sternum. Can you link your ribs and your pelvis a little bit more? Pull one way. Hey, Cheryl. One arm pulls, the other arm pushes. Go the other way. We got a ball underneath our sternums, but we're almost done. So we're going to add on to it now. So you pull with your hand away from the screen. So the ball's in the chest that's the closest to the screen. Now add that shoulder motion. Send your shoulder over the top and back and nestle it onto your ribs a little bit. And then switch. So your hand closest to the screen, you pull towards it. The far arm, it's pushing. Roll your shoulder over and back. Slide it onto the ribs as compared to the neck. Link the ribs in the pelvis and then go to the first side. Slide your straight arm shoulder over the top and back. Stabilize your scapula a little bit and then roll. So you got a chest massage going on, and then the straight arm, stabilize your scapula a little bit. Kick on those muscles. 3 more times each side. Pull one way, shoulder over the top and back, and then pull the other way. Straight arm shoulder over the top and back. 2 more sets. How's your low back? Can you lift the front of the pelvis a little bit to help get a little more length through your lumbars? 1 more time. Great. Okay. So now is maybe reposition the ball just a tad bit. And then make a decision. If you've had enough, you can remove the ball and or the towel right now. If you feel like the ball's still doing you right, we're going to do a little bit of extension right now, some swanning, and you can keep the ball if you want. So just make a decision. So hands are in the goalpost position again, with props or without props. We want to lengthen to low back. So again, close your pelvic floor like elevator doors. The front of the pelvis gets lifted because the abdominals do an engagement. That should lengthen your lumbars. Now, it's mostly forward with the ball and then a little tiny bit up. So keep your weight on the ball, roll it mostly forward, and then go a little bit up. It's called the triple extension. Go up a bit, that's an inhale. And then as you exhale, you can back out just a little bit. And then inhale to go a little more forward and a little more up to the second one. Inhale again. And then again, as you exhale, you can back out a bit. 1 more time. Hopefully your lumbars are long and the extension's more through the back of the ribs, upper back, neck. And then from here, we'll come back down. Keep closing the pelvic floor. Keep the abdominals lifting the front of the pelvis even as you lay back down. If you're still on the ball, your head can drop a little bit below the line of the ball, almost into the negative. And then let's do it again. Front of the pelvis lifts, and then you can go forward a bit and up. Inhale there. That's the first. And then exhale to ease out of the extension a little. And then inhale. More forward, more up. And again, exhale to back off and down. And then last time, inhale more forward, more up. And then continue to link ribs and pelvis as you come out of it, and then you can even drop your head down so your head's below the line of the ball. 2 more times, just like that. Close the pelvic floor, abdominals lift the front of the pelvis. Preserve that as you go forward and a little bit up. And then exhale down a tad. And then inhale more forward and more up. And then exhale down a tad again. The most forward and the most up. And then again, work your way back down, down, down. All the way to the point where you rest over the ball. Let's just do it one more time. Front of the pelvis lifts, and then we'll start to head forward and up. Pelvic floor closing. Front of the pelvis lifted via the abdominals, and then exhale to ease out a little bit. And then even more. Close the pelvic floor, lift the front of the pelvis. More forward, more up with the upper back. And then exhale to work your way out a little. Last time, the most forward, the most up. And then continue linking ribs and pelvis as you head down, down, down. And again, rest into the negative with your head. And then let's spit out those props. And then just take another breath or two to get used to life without anything underneath your chest. And then from here, let's meet up on hands and knees. So we're going into the isometric arm pull. So stand with your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. So start to think about spiraling outward with your humeruses, and then look at your elbows. You want your elbows to be directed at 45 degrees, not dead forward, not towards each other, but 45 degrees. And then keep the straight elbows. Pull your arms right and left for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Right here, link the ribs in the pelvis. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do a rounded back cat. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, round into your upper rib cage. Cat. Take a breath. Now, same deal. Close the pelvic floor, and then abdominals lift the front of the pelvis as you shift back towards the lumbars. Here's the angry cat. Take a breath here. While you're back there, so it's like your boobs are over your knees, we're going to return to a flat back position. Maybe you can peep in the screen to just calibrate so your head, ribs, and pelvis are all in a line. Pull a little bit with the arms as you shift back forward. 2 more times. Keep the arm pulling. That's a technique. And then round through your upper back. Take a breath here. Keep the arm pulling. Prime the lumbars via the pelvic floor and abdominals so that you can angry cat. Take a breath there. Make sure you can still pull on your arms. While you're there, return to the flat back position. Check your work in your screen. Head, ribs, pelvis, all in a line. Pull right and left, and then shift your way back forward. 1 more time. Pull right and left as you round your upper. Take a breath. Pelvic floor, deep abdominals help you shift into angry cat. From here, pull a little on the arms, and then return to the flat back position. And then from flat, we're going to sit back forward. Awesome. Okay, so I think this is going to be the last week that we're going to do this routine. So get 1 massage ball. Feel free to grab your box, Cheryl, and do that mermaid side sit that we did as well if you want to make it more about strengthening focus. Let's all have our right leg in and the left leg out. And then you're going to take the ball and put the ball somewhere underneath your right side of your pelvis, if that suits. If putting the ball underneath you is going to make you unstable, don't use the ball. And that could be the case depending on what's going on with your body. But if it feels like the ball's therapeutic, you're going to put it somewhere underneath the right sit bone. And take a moment and start to right away think about melting a little bit down onto the ball. And then touch your hips, because this is the domain of hips. Your lumbar spine's higher up. This is hips. This is where the movement initiates. So we're going to turn the pelvis towards the right leg. And as you do, maybe you can kind of manually turn your left leg in. Now, link the ribs in the pelvis. We want to keep them like little bricks. Plant the right hand and then turn the rib cage towards the right, and then you can reach your left arm forward. And if you've been here for the last few weeks, the cheesecake image, think of the front body pressing into the back body just a little bit to help the back body get a little more lengthened. Now it's a top-down dismount. So you come out with your arm, and then your chest falls, the left sit bone sits down, one time counter rotation. Turn towards the left. From here, the right hand plants again. But remember, we started with the hips. So it's pelvis rotate. You spiral in the left leg. Link up ribs and pelvis and continue around with the rib cage, the arm, and right here, think of the front sinking into the back just a little bit. Take a breath there. And then we'll come out arm first, rib cage, and then you counter rotate. Pelvis sits down and you turn towards the left. 3 more. Plant, rotate, ribs, and arm. That's it. Front yields into the back. And then again, open. And spiral. Last 2. And then again, arm, rib cage, sit down and rotate. And then one more time. And then you can head back out, arm first, rib cage second, and then rotate. Awesome. Okay, so just make a decision. If the thing that needs the relief the most is the bent leg, go to both legs straight. If the leg that needs the relief is the leg that's straight, you could even bend that leg up or do anything else. I'm going to cue the straight leg. One foot points, the other foot flexes, and you still have the ball underneath you. And in a strange way, Julie, like where this ball is, if you follow it down, it goes hamstrings, it goes calves, and then it goes into the Achilles. So where the ball is smashing up, that could, cause like seeping of fluid or something to support your Achilles. Okay, here we go. We're coming back in with the right leg. So we're adding the sides into it. So we're still working the crust image. So send your straight arms up. You're long through both sides. Now it's the left side that presses into the right side. As the left presses into the right, lower the hand down, and then use the hand to further press your left side into your right side. And then from here, let's start the spiraling top down. Hand, head, neck, shoulders, ribs. And as you lower the right hand, now it's the front pressing into the back again. Use this position to help get your back long and strong in that lengthened position. We'll turn back to face forward, and it's again the left side pressing into the right. So to dissolve the stretch tension through the trunk, domino. First, that arm falling out softens the trunk here, and then it's just the particular sequence. Shoulder, neck, head, and then just one. Tip your shoulder towards the right ear. And then we'll come back up. Let's do it again. So send your arms up. And feel free to modify this stance, guys. If you're not good on the floor, sit up on a box or ottoman or something. Left presses into the right, and then press your hand down. Again, the left presses into the right. Top-down rotation. Feel your back kind of like a piece of saran wrap being even more stretched taut. The further you go into the position, the more the back of you gets stretched taut. Relax through the head and the neck. And then you can rotate back forward, and the left side presses into the right side. Here we go, a domino. Arm comes out. And then you can slowly come up shoulder, neck, and head, and then just one tip towards the right. One final one. Just like this. Go up. Stretching up. The left ribs feed into the right ribs. As you plant your hand down, use it to further press the left ribs into the right ribs. And then from here, hand, head, neck, shoulders. Front body presses into the back body. And then come back to face forward. Your left body presses into the right. And one last domino. To come on up, shoulder, neck, and head. And then again, decide what's the thing that needs the recovery the most. If it's the bent leg, you can go to both legs straight and repeat the pointing and the flexing. If it was the leg that was straight, maybe you're going to bend it in and just sort of rock back and forth so that you're mellowing out your hamstring. If that's the thing that's the most restricted in you, you can just decide. Okay, one last time. We're going to add the spiraling on top of it. So we've done it. You guys are going to do this like rock stars. Let's go up. Stretch up tall. The left side presses into the right. It's the same beginning. And then plant the hand down. Now we start a spiral. The hand and the head and the neck and the shoulders. And then again, as you head down there. Wait, did we just do this? Yeah, that's what I thought. Sorry about that. Okay, and then you're going to come out. And then domino. So instead, we're going to spit the ball out. And take a moment there to sort of experience life without the balls. The problem with teaching the same routine all the time for 6 weeks is you're like, did we just do that last hour or a second? Oh gosh. Okay, so come on to hands and knees. Thanks for helping me use my brain. Back to cat, angry cat. So the technique with the arms is pulling. Start to pull your arms apart and again straight back. We'll just do 2 of them. Round your upper back, take a breath. Now again, pelvic floor, deep abdominals as you head back towards the lumbars. Take a breath. From there, keep the arm pulling. That's a technique as you return into the flat back position. Shift your weight forward again, keep the arm pulling. That's a technique. One more time, just like that. Pull on the arms and then round your upper back. Take a breath here. Keep the arm sense even as you head into your angry cat. Take a breath here. From there, return to the flat back position while your weight shifted back. Keep the arm pull, subtly but definitely, as you shift your weight forward. Good. Okay, here we go the other side. So left leg will be in now. And then we're going to take the ball and put it somewhere underneath the left sit bone if that suits your body. And then from here, touch your hips and sort of orient way down there. That's like first chakra, hips. It's even below like all like your uterus and like the lady parts, hips. Okay, so from here, let's start to rotate. Turn towards the left leg. Your right leg turns in. Plant your hand and then maintaining the lumbopelvic stability, turn your rib cage, reach your arm, and then it's the front sinking into the back just a little bit. Check yourself out. Are your lumbars extended? Maybe lift the front of the pelvis even more so. And then arm comes out, rib cage follows. You sit down with your pelvis and then one rotation to the right. That's it. Here we go. Plant the hand. And then you're going to start to turn towards the left. Rotate the pelvis. Link the ribs in the pelvis and then continue with the ribs in the arm. And then even think of your front sinking into the back a little bit. And then the arms come out. Arms, rib cage, pelvis, and then a counter rotation. 3 more times. Rotate, rotate, rotate. And then come out from the top. Arm, shoulders, ribs. Two more times. Stabilize the lumbars. Make the movement happen higher, and then front softens into the back. And then arm comes out. Rib cage follows. Pelvis. And leg. One more time. That's it. And then again, top down. Okay, and then decide what needs recovering the most. If it's the left leg, you can reach to both legs straight and then do the pointing, flexing. If it's your right hamstring that feels the most restricted, bend your leg in and maybe just rock forward and back. Choose what's the best for you. It's like a little choose your own adventure moment. Okay, and then we'll do the capital T's. So reach your leg out. From here, we'll go up. First, it's just the frontal plane. So you go up tall. Now it's the left side into, right side into the left side. So you plant down. And again, feel how the hand into the leg further allows. So the stretch tension through the left, it dissolves when you send your arm out and then start to stack up shoulder, neck, head, and then one tip towards the left. And up 2 more times, go up. Stretch up, right into the left. And then plant the hand. Take a breath there. And then again, it's a domino motion that dissolves the stretch tension through the left side of the trunk, and then practice the linking, shoulder, neck, head, and then a little tip towards the left. One more time, just like that. Up, and then over. When the right hand plants down, help it to assist the right side pressing up into the left. A domino again. You stack up, up, up. And then tip your ear towards the left shoulder. Okay, if you want to relieve your left knee, go to 2 straight legs and do the point flexes. If you want to relieve your right hamstring, maybe you can turn your leg in and out. One more. Okay, and then we'll send the leg back down. Now we add the spiral on top of it. So we go up, lift up. Right side presses into the left as you land. Now top down spiral, hand, head, ribs. Think of the front pressing into the back as you lower your arms. Take a breath there. Front body pressing into the back. We'll return. So your right is feeding into the left. Feel the stretch tension through the left side of the torso. Now we do the domino to dissolve this side, the trunk. Stretch tension and then sequentially up, shoulder, neck, head, ear towards the shoulder. 2 more times. Head up. Up. Right side feeds towards the left side. You plant. And then the top down spiral. Hand, head, shoulders, ribs. And again, the front body starts to feed into the back body to really strum on that tautness through your back. Relax the head and neck and take 1 breath. And then we'll return to the side. And again, a domino to tip the ear towards the shoulder. Just 1 final time. Up. And again, right feeds into the left. And then the top down spiral. And then back into the side orientation. And then again a domino. To stack back up, shoulder, neck, and head. And again, tip your ear towards the shoulder. And then again, decide what's your best recovery, whether it's the leg out or the right leg in, and just do like 4 more, either foot point and flexes or 4 more of what I'm demonstrating. Great, and then we'll spit the ball out and just sort of feel your comparison. And then we're going to come up to standing. So tuck your toes underneath, stand into your feet, And then with your abdomen touching your thighs, go towards straight legs. Keep the abdomen touching the thighs as your legs are a little straighter and then more bent. Abdomen touching the thighs as you go more straight and bent. 3 more of those. And 2. And then the next time your legs are straightish, belly scoops away from the thighs. We're going to start to roll up and level your pelvis as soon as possible. Take the time to wave through upper back, neck, and head. Okay, so we're going to continue with our exploration of the V stance. So feet it's pretty narrow actually. Heels are together and the toes are a tiny bit separated. And then let's just start practicing these 3 values. So the big toes press down into the mat or down into the carpet. Your heels contact each other. And then hopefully your inner thighs, you can spiral them a little bit forward as we rock up into a releve. Doesn't need to be a big releve. And down. And sometimes this outer track can be really dominant. Keep working the big toes, heels, and then the inner thighs kind of spiraling a little tiny bit forward. And 3. Let's do 8 of these. It can be a very petite releve. If you're like me, to get all of those 3 senses, it's small. And then like 100 later, it gets a tiny bit bigger. 5. Yep. 6. 2 more times. 1 more. Okay, and then hopefully you guys have something near to you that you can use that's kind of like a box or a chair or my reformer. So we're going to put our hands up onto that surface. And it's basically the angry cat, except we're standing upright, so you don't have as much weight in your arms, essentially. And it's going to influence your hammies a little bit. So get into the pull technique with your arms. Pull a little right and left. And then let's hold that isometric for 10. Check into the screen. How straight can you get head, ribs, pelvis? 9. It's a linear arrangement. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 3 cat angry cats from here. So take an inhale. And then as you exhale, we're going to round into the upper rib cage. Relax the head and the neck. Take a breath here. Close the pelvic floor. Abdominals lift the front of the pelvis. So when you shift back into angry cat, it's the lumbars that you're opening. Take a breath here. While you're shifted back there, let's return to the flat back position. Keep the arm pull going as you come back forward, shoulders over the hands. 2 more times. Pull a little right and left and then round to the upper. Take a breath. And then lumbars, abdominals lift, pelvic floor closes, round into the lumbars. Take a breath. From there, return to the flat back position. Keep the arm pull as you shift back forward. Just 1 more time like that. Pull a little right and left on the arms as we round. Take a breath. Angry cat. Open up the lumbars. Take a breath. Return to the flat back position here. And then we'll start to shift back forward. And then from here, stand the feet underneath. And do, if roll-ups are okay, do a sequential roll-up. And same thing as you do, try to get the sequencing to start through the fascia at the back of the pelvis and then into the lumbars and then the rib cage, upper back, neck, and head. Okay, from here, let's do our long side bends standing. So we're going to go to the left first. Let's stand in parallel and then reach your arms up. Same idea, so lengthen up through both sides. And now the left side presses into the right side as you lower. We're going to keep the front of the pelvis lifting as we lower and lift the left arm 5 times. Lower, lift, 5. And back to the pelvic floor closing, abdominals lifting the front of the pelvis. Each time your arms raise up, that happens. Pelvic floor closes, front of the pelvis gets lifted when the arm comes up. 4, 5. Here goes the domino. So find your right arm. Arm comes out. That's going to soften the right side of the trunk. And then that bone sequence, shoulder, neck, head. And then again, tip. And then you can stack back up. Let's see the other side. So send your arms up. Stretch up. Here it's the left side that's going to start to press into the right side. Now, did we just do that side? Yes, we did. So now go right side into the left side, and then lower and lift the arm 5 times. Down, up, 2. Each time the arm raises up, think of elevator doors, pelvic floor, and then the abdominals pulling the front of the pelvis up. 4. One more time. 5. From here, the left arm comes out, and that's what softens the side of the torso. Then you link shoulders, neck, head, and then we'll tip over towards the left. And then come back upright. Okay, once you're upright, we're going to do a roll down. If roll down's not your best choice, feel free to add releves or do any other exploration for a second. So, front of the pelvis is lifted up. Shine your pelvis flashlight at the ceiling even as you curl forward with your eyebrows that tension your scalp, which lead to the neck stretching, and then the upper back and the back of the ribs. Hover your hands above the floor again for the 3 breaths. Keep thinking pelvic floor closing. Abdominals lift the front of the pelvis to open your lumbars, much like the angry cat. And then shine your pelvis flashlight towards the ceiling as you curl your way back upright. Take the time to wave through upper back, neck, and head. Okay, so here we go. We're going to add to the long side bend. So stretch the arms up. Then go both sides lengthening. So we're going to stretch up and start to head towards the left. And then we further go into this left side bend by lowering the left arm and shifting the pelvis to the right. Lift the arm and the pelvis is more underneath you. Close the pelvic floor. Lift the front of the pelvis with the abdominals and then lower the arm and then lift. 3. And under. 4. One more like that. 5. And then we'll go half of one more. And then domino out. We're going to take this just one step further, right arm out, come on up, go right into a right side bend so your left arm is floating. That's the recovery. One last domino here. And then you'll start to stack your way back up. Awesome. Take a second to just regroup, and then we're going to do the other side. So send your arms up. Stretch up through the sides. Now the right side presses into the left side. Do a tip towards the right, and then it's further. So the right arm drops. You further shift the pelvis to the left, opening the left side, and then pelvis more underneath you. And 2. And then a little more underneath. And 3. Can you lift the front of the pelvis? Pelvic floor closes. Abdominals lift the front of the pelvis a millimeter. 4. 2 more times. 5. 1 more. 6. Do half of one more. And then it's a domino that leads you out. So the arm comes out. And then we stack up shoulder, neck, head, and then do a side bend Right arm can lift. Drop the arm back down, and then start to slowly stack up. Okay, so let's do the V stance again. So standing with your toes just gently separated, and then try to find those values, the big toes grounding, the heels contacting, and then the seams, the inseams of your pants, sending them a little bit forward. And 2. We'll do 8 of these. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, final 2, 7, once more, 8. Great, okay. From here, we're going to do another roll down. If roll down's not great, meet us down on the floor. That's where we're going next. Front of the pelvis, aim towards the ceiling, and then start to bow forward, head, neck, upper back. Feel the stretch tension through your scalp, your neck, your upper back, the ribs, all the way into the lumbars. Hover above the floor again for 3 more breaths. And then do the opposite. Bend your knees and belly towards the thighs 5 more times. Stretch your legs straighter. And then more bent. Belly touching the thighs the whole time. 2, so it's a softer core engagement, more of a focus on the legs stretching. 3, 4, 1 more. And then once more, walk forward, and then lower down. Let's just do 3 more angry cats to stabilize a little bit, and then we'll do a absorption. So get the arm pulling, look at your elbows, make sure they're at 45 degrees as you pull your arms. Hold here first, do the isometric. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we round the upper back. Take a breath there. Keep an eye on your arms. Head into the angry cat. Keep the arm pulling. Take a breath here. We'll return to the flat back position and then shift back forward. Check your spine. Are you linear? 2 more like that. Pull right and left as you round your upper. Take a breath. Close the pelvic floor. Abdominals lift the front of the pelvis as you shift angry cat. Take a breath there. Keeping the arm pulled, return to a flat back position, and then we'll come back forward. 1 more time. Pull right and left on the arms, round the upper. Take a breath. Lumbars open in the angry cat. Take a breath. Return to the flat back position, and then we'll shift back forward. Good. From here, we're going to do a few bridges. So let's lay on our backs. If you want to do it choreographed, just this is playful, but feet can be on the floor. And then just see, how do you do rolling back? Can you keep your feet on the floor as you roll back over your pelvis? Maybe, maybe not. That's kind of hard. Okay, so that was just a transition anyway. So I'll give you the feet view. So we're going to have knees together and the feet open about as wide as the shoulders, perhaps, and knees towards each other. That's where we're going to bridge from. So with the knees towards each other, lead up with the pelvic curl. Pelvic floor closes, abdominals lead the front of the pelvis up towards the ribs. Stand into the legs as you continue in the curl all the way up into a bridge position. There towards the top, open the knees so they're wider than the shoulders, and then come out of the bridge with the knees opened up there. Work your way back down. And then when you get there towards the bottom, ease off on the pelvic curl in the final moment, and then do it again towards each other on the knees. And then here we go. We're going to start to curl the pelvis. Pelvic floor closes, abdominals lift, and then the hamstrings lift the sits bones up, up, up. As you get to the top, open your knees so you're more turned out with your legs. And then in that orientation, hang on to the pelvic curl as you come out of the bridge. And relax. One last time. Knees towards each other. And then we'll head up into the curl. And then open towards the top. And then keeping the knees open, maintain the pelvic curl as you come out of the bridge. And then grab your big toes, if you can reach them. Ideally, your head's going to be down. Grab your big toes to find the inner arches of your feet, your legs all the way to the inseams of your pants, and then just do some straddles. And as you're going, fool around with pulling on your big toes. And then let's just do a little absorption. So, legs together and down. And then really, you just want to choose your most comfortable position. So it could be the knees together, like we just did in the bridging. You could have your knees open. You could have your legs straight. Just see what feels right. We're going to take about 10 breaths here. Settling into stillness. Beginning to integrate whatever changes are going to come from that little sequence we just did. About 10 breaths will do. Four more breaths. Two more. Final breath. And then from here, we're going to reach the legs long and the arms long, like you're stretching, like you just woke up in the morning and you're reaching legs and arms out. And then do the opposite. So fold them in. Be folded through your hips and your knees and your arms. And then from here, let's just sit up to a seated rock up if that suits. And we'll just finish with a little absorption sequence. Feel free to do this seated on the floor. You could also sit on a chair. You could even stand up. So just get yourself so you feel like you're good. Arms are up. We're going to stretch up. Let's again rotate. This time go to the left. So turn top of the head, neck, shoulders, ribs, and then sit upright. To the right. And up. I'm going to give you a little bit of a side view. It's that same extension. Front body lifts up as you open your arms down. Stretch up, belly, chest, sternum, collarbones, throat, chin, and then the opposite, round. Turn the back of the hands towards each other and round. Think of the cat, angry cat, kind of a vibe. And then you can sit up. If it's easy, maybe put the other foot in front and go to the right first. Hands, head, neck, shoulders, ribs, and then up, and then to the right, left, Hands, head, shoulders, neck, ribs. And then back up. And then from here, that front body extension. So belly lifts, arms open as you slide up belly, sternum, collarbones, throat, chin. Wind your hands in, turn the back of the hands towards each other, and then curl. Try to let that express through the upper back, neck, head. And then you can sit back up. Awesome.